today we're going to dig right into the feats that we want for our melee build for the Occultist class out of Pathfinder.
Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Now, you might have noticed that there are some changes going on here at the Gamer's Den. These come at the behest and recommendations and critiques of a Reddit thread that I had submitted a video to for review. And it's revealed quite a few areas where I could improve by a lot, and also has revealed that some of my equipment was not working properly. But we are making those changes, and to that end, one of the most, rightly so, critiqued elements of my videos was my runtime. So, to that end, we're going to try to minimize that and not allow my brain to run down every single little rabbit hole that it might deem important at the moment. So, we're going to go ahead and dig right in to the feats that we want for our melee occultist build from the Pathfinder tabletop game. So, to begin with, at first and third level, we have extra mental focus and weapon finesse. Extra mental focus is because, well, we want more mental focus points. We need those to activate the focus powers out of our implements. In particular, we want to activate the powers from the transmutation implements, because those are going to really do a lot to ramp up our combat abilities and enhance the overall strength and power of our weaponry, which our weaponry can be used as the transmutation implement, if you'll recall. Also, we want weapon finesse because we have a lower strength build. This feat works with light weapons, rapiers, elven curve blades, whips, or spike chains for some reason, and any other weapons that say that they work with weapon finesse. We need this because this will allow us to substitute our dexterity modifier on the strength score, since our strength score is going to be so low, and this will allow us to add dex onto the attack rolls. One thing to note though, with the rules as written for weapon finesse, when you're using a shield, it will impose its armor check penalty on your attack rolls when you're using weapon finesse. I recommend house ruling this out. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Most weapons in human history are designed or are able to work with shields. The only two exceptions I can think of here right off the top of my head are the whips and spike chains, which spike chains use two hands anyways. So I recommend house ruling that out just from a historical martial arts kind of background, but your mileage may vary with your various DMs out there, so be aware of that. And then also coming in at 5th and 7th level, we have exotic weapon proficiency, elven branch spear, and then the combat reflexes feat. Exotic weapon proficiency only requires a base attack bonus of a +1 and will allow you to use the elven branch spear without penalty. This is a reach weapon that works with weapon finesse, which is exactly what we want. We only have a D8 for hit points and at our heaviest, medium armor. So keeping your opponents an extra bit of distance away where you're still able to attack them will be absolutely paramount for this build. And since this works with weapon finesse, this will mesh nicely with the combat reflexes feat, which allows you to make a number of attacks of opportunity each round equal to your dex modifier. This is on top of the one that you're already getting for free. So with a 16 in our dexterity score, we're getting 4 attacks of opportunity total. So that will allow you to ramp up the amount of damage that you're doing when you're attacking opponents, because again, our strength is lower, so we're not getting bonus damage for strength. We need to up our number of attacks and be able to bludgeon, well in this case, slash and stab our opponents effectively. And then going on after that, we have combat expertise at 9th level and improved trip at 11th level. Combat expertise requires an intelligence of 13, and what it does is it allows you to take a -1 penalty to your attack and combat maneuver bonus rolls, in exchange giving you a +1 bonus to your armor class. This increases when your attack bonus hits a +4 total, and then goes up by 1 for every +4 total after. So when you hit +4, that's a -2 to your attack and combat maneuver bonus, but then a +2 to your armor class, and then again, once you hit +8, +12, etc. Improved Trip requires that same intelligence of 13 and combat expertise, which we just covered. You will no longer provoke attacks of opportunity when you make trip attempts, and you will gain a +2 bonus to your combat maneuver bonus rolls for all of your trip attempts. And you gain a +2 bonus to your combat maneuver defense when trip attempts are made against you. So now we're using a reach weapon and are able to trip our opponents and knock them to the ground. Sounds fairly advantageous if there are some hazards around, like say, I don't know, the etheric shards spell, which lets you lay out deadly invisible shards that inflict damage to your opponents when they move through the area, or if they fall, or actively defend themselves, or if they're standing back up. Sounds like a very mean strategy to employ, and I think you see where this is going at this point. For 13th and 15th level, we have Greater Trip and then Lunge. So with Greater Trip, you will gain another +2 bonus on your combat maneuver rolls to make trip attempts for a total of +4, on top of the solid attack bonus that we already have, and the fact that we're using our dexterity bonus on our melee rolls means we're going to have pretty good odds of tripping our opponents, especially once we hit this middle-ish level of level 13. In addition, when you trip a target, they will provoke attacks of opportunity. So you have an opponent who's knocked down, prone, missing their dexterity bonus to their defense, and they are provoking an attack of opportunity from you, and also from any allies who are in range, allowing you and your team to deal out incredible amounts of damage. So, all the way, very good build that we're getting going here. And then also what Lunge is going to do for you, well, it takes a base attack bonus of 6 to get into, but we have that at this point. You will increase your melee attack range by 5 feet till the end of your turn at a cost of -2 to your armor class. So this is already giving us a reach of about a 10-foot radius around us with this build so far. Getting another 5, you have a 15-foot radius that you're able to affect and threaten. So this is going to give you quite a bit of battlefield control, on top of the fact that you can trip targets within that range, and they'll provoke those attacks of opportunity. And if you're laying out your etheric shards properly, you're going to start racking up quite a bit of damage, on top of the fact that you're potentially inflicting bleed damage on your opponents. Then after that, we have Weapon Focus at level 17. This only requires proficiency with the selected weapon and a base attack bonus of +1. This will give you a +1 attack bonus with the weapon selected, and this also applies to your combat maneuver rolls, so this will apply to your trip attempts. It's nice to have just on top of everything else. But then after that, at 19th level, it's just kind of open here, because with our limited feat selection and the fact that we don't have as high of a strength score, if you're doing point buy and you're not rolling out your stats and getting some solid rolls, you're going to be locked off from feats like Power Attack and Cleave and Bull Rush. So what I recommend here, you have 3 options. Combat Casting, which will make it easier for you to cast spells in melee. Point Blank Shot, if you want to round out your attack options with a ranged option, or Toughness, which I think I will recommend most overall. This will give you additional hit points, which you definitely need if you're going to be wading into thick of melee, being slightly squishier than some of the more heavily armored opponents. But we all know that these are not the only feats possible. What are some of the other feats that you might recommend? Go on down in the comments down below. Let me know if you like this list or if you changed some things out. Certainly, I'm still learning the Occultist class overall, and I'm more than happy to exchange and share knowledge as I try to come up with something that may help you in the long run. Also, if you like the video, please go ahead and share, and also why not go on down there and subscribe to the channel. Certainly we'd be happy to have more friends, members, and alumni here at the Gamers Den. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.